Hi guys, and welcome to another review video. Today I'll be reviewing The Continent by Kara Drake. Today I actually have my coffee with me, so I'm staying true to my name. So I want to go ahead and thank the people that respected my decision to read this book and figure out if I would like it or not amongst all the controversy it has received lately. I know some people did unfollow me, but for those who stuck around, I do respect and appreciate your choice to stick around and understand why I was doing this. This book was definitely not what I expected, and honestly, that's not a good thing. This book was very fast. Not a lot of it made sense, and basically, I was just very disappointed in this book. I want to go ahead and say that I do understand why people would think that this book is racist, because the descriptions of the people were very specific, especially on skin tone and attitude and dress. So I can definitely see why people would think that this book is completely controversial. So I just want to talk about the details of this book. Like I said, the descriptions of the people were very, very specific. The story itself was very quick. It definitely seemed kind of bland in my opinion. It just wasn't really exciting enough. It was just a step-by-step situation, and it didn't really have any flair to it. Like, you would read the summary and you expect this big thing, and then it just flops. We've all had that happen with books before, and this is one of those books where I thought the summary was interesting, and then the book just flops. For other people, of course, it was for a different reason. For me, it was because, just nothing was there. It was very predictive, too. Nothing twisting or exciting happened that made me, grip the edge of my seat. It was just very predictable, and nothing twist-worthy happened. There weren't any twists that I expected or thought to expect. The dialogue in this book really got to me. It was way too formal. In certain time periods, the dialogue is really formal. It's very accurate. It's very, it's not lazy as our dialogue might be in today's world. But this is basically set in a futuristic world, and the dialogue is just, you can set a dialogue for a book to be a certain type of dialogue, back in the medieval world or whatever. But this dialogue was just way too formal. It, went way over the top, and it was very, very cringeworthy to read. Every time I would be reading the dialogue between characters, I would just, sit there and have to push myself to get through the conversation because it was just bad. It was an immediate reaction once I started reading the dialogue between characters, and throughout the entire book, it was just way, way too formal, and it was very hard to actually get through it. And I was just begging for the conversations to end or for something to change where even something casual would be said, but everything was just too formal in my opinion. Another thing that I didn't really like about this book is it seems Kara used the thesaurus too seriously. There were some words that were just too abstract or too big of meaning, I guess. She would go through the thesaurus and type in the word she wants, and she'd pick the most abstract word that would actually take you a minute and be like, wait, what word is she trying to use? So some of the words in this book, I would see them, I'd read them, but it'd take me a minute to understand, or some of them I wouldn't even actually understand what she's trying to say. I just think that the abstract words that she used from the thesaurus was just not needed. Really, I've heard some people say, you don't have to choose the most difficult, abstract, longish word from the thesaurus to put in your book. It's good to use the thesaurus, but you don't want to abuse the power, I guess. You don't want to confuse people. And some of the words she used definitely confused me. I don't know if this happened with other people, or if people even got far enough to read the words that were used, but it definitely kind of muddled my brain a little bit. Now I was just staring at the word, it's like, wait, what is that supposed to mean? So the characters, I definitely did not feel any kind of connection with any of the characters, especially the main character, Vela. She just seemed incredibly weak throughout the whole story. Characters are supposed to have some kind of growth, or we're supposed to feel connected to a character. I felt nothing. I didn't even feel like she had any growth because, she gets into this heliplane crash while touring the continent, and she's by herself. And throughout the entire story, it seems like she's just in distress. She is grieving, and it seems like she's just stuck in that the entire time. She goes with the Ebony people and lives with them for quite some time. She doesn't get any stronger, even though they kind of like train her to use their weapons or whatever. She doesn't appear to be as strong as we see some of these other female characters in the literature world that grow out of this grief and just become these badass women. I did not see that with Vela. She seemed like the same throughout every single page. Another thing that bothered me, coinciding with the characters and the details, is there was a lot of skipping around. Like, one chapter would end in a certain time, and then the next chapter would skip like 5 months. And it's like, there was no reason to really go that fast. What happened in between that time? Like, she's recovering from the crash, and we don't see anything. We don't see any other connections with characters. I mean, it just really confused me, like, why go so fast? Another thing that really bothered me about the characters is this book is insta-love at its worst. Some insta-love is good as long as there's some kind of growth or connection or serious something with the characters. But this, no. So Noro, he is a male character. He is an Avonay, and he rescues Vela. And suddenly it's just like, oh, yes, I love you so much. You are the love of my life. And when we're leading up to this point, there is nothing before that. I mean, it appeared like they're still strangers when they're talking like this to each other. They're kissing, they're doing whatever. And it's, the way I see it is, Nora and Vela just are strangers. They didn't have any growth together to actually become a part of a relationship like this. So it's very weird, like, okay, I fell in love with my rescuer because, I see this other side for 2 minutes. It just did not make sense. There's not a lot I can talk about with this book. Number one, it's a short book, but overall it just did not make sense. It was too fast, and it was just cringeworthy, and really I did have to push through to actually finish this book because I was hoping something would happen that would actually get me excited about this book and actually give it more than the 2 stars I gave it. But overall, it just did not make sense. It was terrible. And I do understand again why people will find it problematic, and I do respect their opinion. This book is definitely not for everybody, and I'm not sure why Harlequin Heen picked up this book when it definitely feels like it's not finished. Like, I don't know if this is what it read like in the beginning, because I only have the revised version, but it just, nothing makes sense in this book. It's just, it was very hard to get through, and I hate ragging on books I didn't like, but I'm just telling the truth. Kira seems like a nice lady, but this book was just not for me. It was very disappointing, and I'm not sure what's going to happen in the future because I know this book is supposed to be a series, especially with how the ending was cringeworthy and mushy-gushy as it was. But I guess we'll have to see what happens in the future with this book, if there is going to be a second book after everything that's happened in the past year. But I can assure you I will definitely not read it myself. Thank you guys so much for watching this review, and I appreciate you guys 100%. Hit the subscribe button, follow my social media accounts, and I will see you guys later.